नमस्ते डियर स्टूडेंट्स। आज हम लोग एनसीईआरटी क्लास 7th हिस्ट्री का चैप्टर नंबर 2 डिस्कस करेंगे। सो लेट्स बिगिन। सबसे पहला क्वेश्चन दैट यू नीड टू नो इज हु वर सामंतास और सामंत्स। अब सामंत वर्ड को क्लियरली जानने के लिए आपको ये जानना पड़ेगा दैट आफ्टर 7th century AD in Indian subcontinent we had decentralized political conditions। अब ये decentralized political conditions क्या होती है? Decentralization means there was a beginning in regional kingdoms in different parts of the subcontinent। इससे पहले 7th century AD से पहले सेंट्रलाइज्ड एम्पायर हुआ करता था जो कि गुप्ता एम्पायर था, लेकिन 7th सेंचुरी के बाद जब डिक्लाइन हुआ गुप्ता एम्पायर का, आफ्टर द डिक्लाइन ऑफ गुप्ता एम्पायर देयर वाज अ कंडीशन ऑफ डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन इन इंडियन सबकॉन्टिनेंट। मतलब यहाँ पर रीजनल किंगडम्स का इंपॉर्टेंस बढ़ा, रीजनल किंगडम्स इमर्ज हुए हैं। So decentralized polity was there after 7th century in Indian subcontinent, which continued till the establishment of Delhi Sultanate in 12th century AD। तो अब इस decentralized polity में important role जो play कर रहे हैं वो है सामंत। Who were सामंत? The kings patronized big landlords or warrior chiefs in form of gifts और बिग बिग लैंड पीसेस। तो ये जो गिफ्ट्स होते थे ये इनके कंट्रोल में आ जाते थे, द बिग लैंडलॉर्ड्स, और इनको ये सामंत बोलते थे। इन रिटर्न ऑफ दीज गिफ्ट्स these samantas were expected to provide military services to the king as well as they were expected to be loyal to the king। तो ये हो गए सामंत। बट ग्रेजुअली व्हाट हैपेंड, ये सामंत जो है और ज्यादा पावरफुल होने लग गए एंड दे अज्यूम द टाइटल ऑफ महासामंत और महामंडलेश्वरा। जैसे ही ये पावरफुल हो जाएंगे ये किंग से अपनी इंडिपेंडेंस डिक्लेयर कर देंगे और जिस रीजन में ये पावरफुल हो जाएंगे वहां पे एक रीजनल किंगडम को एस्टैब्लिश कर देंगे। तो ये है सामंतास एंड महासामंतास और ये है डिसेंट्रलाइज्ड पॉलिटिकल कंडीशंस इन इंडियन सबकॉन्टिनेंट दैट अरोज आफ्टर 7th century AD। एग्जाम्पल ऑफ these decentralized regional kingdoms after 7th century AD are Chalukyas। There were many regional kingdoms in Indian subcontinent। So Chalukyas in the region of Karnataka, Rashtrakutas in the region in and around present day Maharashtra, so we call it Deccan। So in Deccan region there were Rashtrakutas, there were Chola rulers in South India। So many such regional kingdoms arose in Indian subcontinent after 7th century AD। ये है हमारा सामंत और डिसेंट्रलाइज्ड पॉलिटी के बारे में। अदर important question is about administration of these regional kingdoms। How were these regional kingdoms were administered? So the king administered his kingdom with the help of local landlords or peasants, those who controlled great power। So the king shared his power with the big landlords or influential peasants or traders। Okay, so this was the administration and in return he is getting revenue, and revenue came in the form of taxes, tax on produce of land। So this was the main source of revenue। Taxes were also imposed upon trade। So the king received revenue in form of taxes, and with this revenue the royal establishment was managed or maintained, as well as this revenue gave finances to finance the wars। This was the administration। And the state officials, the bureaucracy or the state machinery, the officials were appointed from these royal families or big landlords. They became the officials of state and their posts became hereditary. Their posts became hereditary. So this was the administration of these regional kingdoms. Moving further, we have to discuss what is a prashasti. Prashasti, it is a Sanskrit term. Prashasti is a Sanskrit term for poem written in praise of a king. Okay, so these poems are written in Sanskrit language. One thing that you need to know. And we have examples of many prashastis. One such example that we discussed in class 6th was Prayag Prashasti of Samudragupta. Samudragupta was a Gupta ruler, so Prayag Prashasti. And another important prashasti that is given in this year's book is Gwalior Prashasti. Gwalior Prashasti. This is also written in Sanskrit. This belongs to King Nagbhat of Pratihara ruling dynasty. Okay, so these prashasti are Sanskrit poems written in praise of kings. So these will never criticize the activities of any king. This thing you need to understand. Okay, so this is prashasti. Then another example is Raj Tarangini, written by Kalhan. Kalhan is the author of a book called Raj Tarangini. This is not a prashasti. This, although these are also Sanskrit poems, Raj Tarangini also contains Sanskrit poems, but this is not a prashasti. Now, what is the difference between a prashasti and Raj Tarangini? See, prashastis are written in praise of king. They may or may not be historical. They may or may not present true facts. So, we don't know about the historicity of prashastis. Are they true or not? But Raj Tarangini in turn is a historical account. Why? Because Kalhan, when he was writing Raj Tarangini, he referred to various sources, various archaeological sources as well as various existing literary sources. So this is a historical account. This is a historical account that you can consider while studying history. Okay, so this is the difference between prashasti and Raj Tarangini, that prashastis may or may not be historical, but Raj Tarangini on the other hand is a historical account. One difference. Other difference is prashastis are always written in praise of a king, but Raj Tarangini praises as well as criticizes the activities of various kings of Kashmir. Okay, Raj Tarangini concerns Kashmir ruling dynasties. So this considers praises as well as criticism of the kings of Kashmir. This is the difference between prashasti and Raj Tarangini, although both are written in Sanskrit. Next question that is important here is wars. So these regional kingdoms that were established in Indian subcontinent were often engaged in wars amongst themselves. So these wars were fought for wealth and also for land. Example is Kannauj. We all know Kannauj is a very fertile area lying between the Ganga Yamuna Doab. So many regional kingdoms during 7th century AD were engaged in wars amongst themselves to gain control of this region of Kannauj. Example of this war is a long tripartite struggle between three parties. That is why we call it tripartite, because three parties were engaged in it. ये three parties कौन सी है? पालास, गुर्जर प्रतिहारास एंड राष्ट्रकूटास. ठीक है, तो ये 3 पार्टीज के बीच में जो वॉर हो रहा है इसको हम लोग ट्राइपार्टाइट स्ट्रगल फॉर कन्नौज कहते हैं। ये 3 पार्टीज में वॉर हुआ है, ठीक है। तो ये है वॉर फॉर गेनिंग कंट्रोल ओवर अ पीस ऑफ लैंड। वेल्थ के लिए भी वॉर्स होते थे। एग्जाम्पल है महमूद ऑफ गजनी अटैक्ड इंडिया मल्टीपल टाइम्स एंड विच रीजन ही अटैक्ड? ही अटैक्ड सोमनाथ टेम्पल ऑफ गुजरात multiple times. Why? To gain the huge wealth that was there in this temple. And many other temples he attacked, and he took immense wealth with him to his kingdom in Central Asia. तो ये है वेल्थ के लिए जो अटैक हो रहा है, ठीक है, वॉर्स हो रहे हैं आपस में। एक और एग्जाम्पल है चौहान्स ऑफ राजस्थान और गहदवलाज, गहदवल डायनेस्टी है जो कि वेस्टर्न यूपी में है। इनके बीच में भी आपस में वॉर होता रहता है टू गेन मोर एंड मोर कंट्रोल ओवर लैंड, एक्सटेंड देयर किंगडम्स, ठीक है। तो ये भी लैंड के लिए वॉर हो रहा है चौहान और गहदवलाज में। ये है वॉर्स अमंग दी रीजनल किंगडम्स, और ये ऑल ओवर सब कॉन्टिनेंट हो रहे हैं वॉर्स कंटिन्यू। ओके, सो ये है इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट्स जो कि इस चैप्टर में है। नेक्स्ट पार्ट इस चैप्टर का है चोला डायनेस्टी जो साउथ इंडिया में थी। दैट आई विल बी डिस्कसिंग इन सेपरेट वीडियो, क्योंकि ये अपने आप में बहुत बड़ा चैप्टर हो जाएगा। सो रेफर टू माई अनदर वीडियो इन ऑर्डर टू अंडरस्टैंड अबाउट चोला डायनेस्टी ऑफ साउथ इंडिया। ओके, थैंक यू, बाय बाय।